Hi, welcome to Action Sports Maui. We're live in the Weather Center here at Action Sports headquarters, and we're going to take you through our daily procedure of checking the weather conditions. So the weather conditions today are shaping up for a nice windy day, great for wind sports. But how do we know that? Well, we're going to check all of our online tools, and then we're going to get to the beach and do our physical observations as well. Alright, so what I want to do is when I'm first checking the weather, I want to make sure that I'm looking at the big picture first. So I go from the big to the small. And right here I have a computer generated model of the actual winds of the entire North Pacific here, the Eastern Pacific. And we have the Hawaiian Islands down here in this area, and they're quite small. But I'm looking at a much wider area of the map here. So you might be able to see there's a big circulation of wind here. This is a high pressure system, okay? And the high pressure systems dominate our weather, and they make the trade winds that we like to kiteboard in and windsurf in. And we want to see a high pressure system located north and east of us. So the center is up here. If the center of the high pressure was over the islands, we would have no wind. So we need it to be a certain distance away, so we get the winds that are circulating around the periphery of the high pressure. So this is ideal. So this model is a great way to visualize what the winds are doing. Now, if for the traditionalists, if you are used to looking at a regular weather map like this is the one with just the lines on it and the black lines, and you see some blue cold fronts, red warm fronts, and some zigzag lines there, which are the ridges and the troughs of that are associated with the different weather patterns. So here is, let me just center that a bit. Here is the representation of the high pressure with a big H in the middle, and this big H here is for high pressure. Where's a low? Okay, the big low up here. And the big low has more circles around it, because generally lows are more intense, and there's storms, basically. So this is a big storm up here. Storms are also useful, not just for trade winds, but what they do is they pump surf. So here we have a high concentration of isobars pointing at the Hawaiian Islands. So, you know, these lines are roughly parallel and in alignment with the Hawaiian Islands. And if the wind blows strong enough for long enough in the right direction, it generates a swell which will travel down towards the islands, and 3 days later or so, 5 days later, we get strong surf. So this storm way over here in the Aleutian Islands is going to give us surf in the future. We are also going to look at the spacing of the isobars here, but not just the spacing. What's really important is the alignment of the isobars. So, isobar is just basically a line on a weather map that gives you, it joins areas of equal pressure. Iso means pressure. So, the isobar is here in this case, because of the circular nature of the high pressure, we're actually on this uptrending isobar here. There's a little kick up on the isobar, and that will give us winds a little bit different to the normal. So when you have a truly horizontal east-west isobar, like if we were positioned over here on this high pressure system, we would get a nice side onshore trade wind, very steady, probably 49 degrees, and very predictable. When we find ourselves on this left-hand side of the high pressure system, we have a little bit more trend. So the isobar is basically slanted like this, and the wind direction follows the isobar. So when you tilt the isobar, the wind also tilts, and you'll get a more easterly airflow. So those of you who are regular kite beach kiters, who are used to coming down, you'll know that that means easterly winds, which are gusty, close to the shore, a little bit tricky for the launch. But it means easterly wind might be tricky onshore, but offshore you have better conditions for wave riding. And that's what our intermediate and advanced guys come to Maui for at this time of year. They love the wind plus the waves. So we have a big low pressure system up here pumping swell in towards us, and we have had great surf the last 3 days at Kite Beach, and we have this inclined isobar creating slightly more easterly conditions, which is great for down the line wave riding, riding those big roller coaster waves down the line. So 2 days ago we had onshore wind, good for upwind wave riding, and all those beginners first time in the waves, fantastic. Yesterday it was extremely offshore wind. Okay, so that just made it kind of gusty and crazy for everybody. Today should be kind of the best of both worlds. Not too gusty, but a great angle for riding waves. Okay, how do we know how strong it's going to be? Well, there's a formula for calculating isobars and wind strengths called pressure gradient force, but we're not going to do that because we have simplified tools for that. So I can go up here and look at, boom, some forecast model tables. And this is a real simplified way of looking at the wind. And there is a computer model with a lot of factors crunched into it, a lot of numbers get crunched to give us this really simplified graph here. But this is the one for the layperson that most people are used to. So here is Monday, April 24th, this is us. And I have a forecast here going 7 days into the future. The 7th day is probably the least accurate of the days. But the next 3 days are pretty more accurate. Today's one is pretty really accurate. So, we have yellow, and the more red and yellow, these squares here, the stronger the wind. Okay, and then they have some numbers here. So this is like, you know, average gust strength, 17, 16, 16, 16, 15. And also the angle changes. So it goes from a little bit more east in the morning to a little bit more northeast in the after about 2 o'clock. So that's fantastic. All right. So this basically means that the wind is going to be better after lunch. A little bit more consistent. Now, you may say to yourself, okay, the wind is looking light. 17, this is miles per hour, by the way. That's our, here it says miles per hour. So 17, 16 miles per hour is a little bit of a lighter wind for most kiteboarders. We like to have 20, 25. Well, this is a forecast model that is generalized for the island of Maui. It says Kanaha, but it's more like the North Shore. And we find that at Kite Beach, this forecast is consistently 30% under reporting the actual wind that we will get. Because we have local wind effects that focus the wind in a certain way. So, if you look this afternoon at what the winds actually were, looking back, you'll see that they're like 25 miles per hour. And this happens day after day. There is more days when it's consistently underreported than there are days where it's spot on. So that's something to factor in. So I know that my winds are going to be at least 17 miles per hour and probably closer to 25 miles per hour. So I already have an idea of what kite size, what conditions to expect when I get to the beach, and it's going to help me plan my day better. But there's more. Okay, I might want to look at some other features here, like the satellite images. So this is a photograph or an infrared photograph that's been enhanced from satellites circling above the Earth. Great, we have access to that. There's a little model. And this is great for looking at things like clouds, water vapor, and is it going to rain on me? Because rain does two things. It creates its own wind, and it will kill the convective wind, the sea breezes. Because, you know, a cloud comes over, it's going to cool the land 4 or 5 degrees, and it can shut off temporarily the forces that drive the convective sea breeze. And our winds on the North Shore of Maui are a combination of the trade wind, which is a a bigger area wind and our local convective wind by heat that's generated over the island. So those two factors conspire and combine to give us our Kite Beach wind. So, is it going to be rainy on Maui? Well, yeah, there's a chance that this blue little dots that are coming up over Maui are going to affect us. So they're coming from the south. So I'm in Kihei, I look out the window and I can see there's actually cloudy skies this morning. Not so great. This could mess up our wind. Okay, but it's not too severe. So we have this little trailing wind coming through there, trailing our clouds, little tail of clouds. This one, yeah, it's kind of like a front, or a trough here that has some cloud band associated with it, and it kind of hits right over Maui. So we will see how bad that is. Looking here at the rain radar, it really is the actual precipitation, and is very low. So it's not like we have a storm, it's not like we're going to have a lot of rain, but we may have some overcast skies, some partially overcast skies. Alright, so going back to our lovely computer model here, you can see the swirling action of the wind. It gives you a great indicator here. If I zoom right in on Maui, you'll see some local wind effects. Okay, here we can see the trade winds from a very easterly direction, probably like about 75-80 degrees. And that's like the angle of attack of the wind hitting your kite. Okay, what angle is the wind attacking the Hawaiian island chain? Because all of these islands are like airfoils in the airflow. So the wind has to get around them somehow, and that will affect how the wind interacts with the land. So all of these islands can actually line up and create one giant airfoil surface, or they can be broken up and segmented. So here we can see, and trying to zoom in there, I can go to my other one. Alright, here's a closer version. You can see the wind between Maui and the Big Island is focused. This is a venturi, where the wind is pushing between two islands. It's squeezing to a narrowing, and it's going to be stronger in there. So there's a big, strong area of wind to the south and east of us. And up here to the north of Maui, you can also see another yellow patch. Okay. So what's critical here is I can see this wind hitting Hana south of east. Okay, so it's not true 90 degrees, it's more than 90 degrees. And that's basically the north shore of Maui having a zero angle of attack. And the north shore of Maui normally has a higher angle of attack, which will squeeze the wind and create a north shore venturi. But we don't really have that effect today. So all of this area from Hana to Haiku is basically zero angle of attack, so we're not getting any compressed winds, we're not getting any initial acceleration of the trade winds until you get to about Ho'okipa. And then once you get to Ho'okipa, yes, you do get a narrowing of the wind, and you'll start to get acceleration there. As the wind turns the corner, and it will turn the corner, towards Kahului Harbor, the two land masses of the two volcanoes create another venturi, which will accelerate the wind at Kite Beach and Ma'alaya, usually, and Kihei. But today, it's not going to be any wind in Kihei side as such. Not really good kiteable wind because the wind is just too east. So that's basically in a big wind shadow over there. So is Lahaina. So Lahaina all the way to Lanai, you could, swim across there in a canoe, probably till about noon. Okay, Pailolo Channel up here, very windy as usual. Okay, so this tells me it's not going to be the strongest of strong days, but we are going to have some good wind around the 20-mile-an-hour region. It's not going to be, dead steady side onshore wind. It's going to be a little bit east, making our launches a little more challenging. But for those intermediate and advanced that want to get out to the wave line, go out and ride on the reef, you're going to have some excellent conditions. So look forward to seeing you guys down there. If not, join us online, and we'll share some pictures and some other live casts during the day. And wherever you are, enjoy yourself, have a happy day kiteboarding or thinking about kiteboarding, and we will see you at Kite Beach. Aloha.